What's up, everyone? Welcome back. We got another amazing video today with Brian, my cohort. We're so excited about, just jumping on here and talking to everyone about bull market portfolio strategies. Really, there's a lot to be excited about. So why don't we kick it off, Brian? I mean, there's a lot going on. What's top of mind for you?
Yeah, I'm loving the bullish vibes that we're getting, not only in the crypto market, but the NFT market. We've been talking about that for a few months now, that we were going to see an increase in a movement in crypto, and hopefully it starts to trickle over to the NFT market. And a lot of these top projects, what was it, like the top 30 projects were up at least 20% over the past couple days. So really exciting stuff, exciting for our bags, exciting for NFT Nation, and it definitely feels like we're in that market cycle. We might be at the end of that like market psychology cycle with disbelief, because I'm like even rubbing my eyes like, is this really happening? I'm seeing double-digit returns. So exciting stuff. I am getting bullish. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm excited to see as much as a reversal in growth, to be honest, versus that of meme coins and was it altcoins, because that's kind of what the trajectory has been for bull and bear cycles is, money flows to Bitcoin's the king, then alts pop more than Ethereum follows, and then NFTs, right? This is kind of like the first ever like recovery or bull market start for NFTs. And we're like, oh, it's going to take some time. But nope, yeah, I'm going to share on my screen right now. There's been some big sales in the last week, starting off with Wembenyama. It's the NBA. It's not even an NBA Top Shot. This is on So Rare, and it's sold for, how much it sell for? $110,000 for one NFT. So that was exciting. And then we also, this week, we saw a CryptoPunk, actually, the Yuga Lab founder bought it. I just found out. I thought it was just some average Joe, but it was the Yuga Lab founder who bought a CryptoPunk for 600 Ethereum, which is $1.1 million. So yeah, things are popping off. These are just single sales, but we'll get into it later. But really, project floors are doubling. And that's a little bit more, actually not a little bit, a lot more than like Ethereum and altcoins. Like I'll show you there's a couple projects that popped 100, 200%.
Yeah. And we've even on top of that, we've seen the daily volume in NFTs go up. I think we did like 20 million yesterday, which,
Yeah.
a week or two ago, we were right around 5 million. And so we're 4x that number. And another unique stat that I saw yesterday is, and it was just yesterday and I have to check today, is that we've been seeing an increased number of unique wallets. So even though a lot of this money is still being cycled around by, guys like us who just absolutely love NFTs and haven't left during the bear market, but we're starting to see some new wallets being created, which I think that's really a metric that obviously we want to see pop off.
Yeah, I think it was like since June or something, we had the most wallets activate and come back. And that's exciting. And what I was most intrigued by is how all this fundamental news started with, Catalyst from like starting with Elon. And I thought, oh, that was cool, But then The Simpsons came on and I didn't even notice, but it really popped things off. Like for NFTs, the Simpsons punks came out that did 2.2 million in secondary market sales. And that was like a free mint. And then just following those like those two minor, I would say, news catalysts, not even Bitcoin halving or Bitcoin spot ETF, just an Elon on Joe Rogan and a Simpsons episode is all it takes for floors to jump 30, 50%. I'm like, wait until we get into a bull market, right? Yeah. So yeah, it's exciting. Yeah. So yeah, we're just jump right into, portfolio strategies. Last week we talked about budgets. We like to put our money where our mouths are. We don't want to just say, hey, this is what you should do. This is really what strategies I apply for myself. And I'm excited to apply them here in this next bull run, because the last bull run changed my life financially in terms of NFTs. And I think this bull run, I know this bull run is going to do the same. So I'm really focusing in on my strategy for this next run. And I'm excited to, kind of share that and transparently show that to everybody. So let me share my screen here. Well, I got to share a victory for Brian because, people don't like to share their own victories. But what I'm pulling up here is NBA Top Shot. So that's something that Brian bought. Let me pull it up. Oh, here it is. Brian bought 2 packs of NBA Top Shots just for fun, and he pulled 2 of the highest valued NFTs from the pack. I mean, I'm so jealous. It's close to like $400, and you spent what, 150, 140?
Yeah, about $150, and yeah, once I opened up the Wembley on my, or no, it was actually Chet, the first one. I was excited because I'm a big basketball fan and love Top Shot, and I was like, damn, I really want that Wembley though. I really want them, and that came in the second pack, so I was really excited to get that. And I think we talked a little bit about it offline yesterday, but I think I'm going to hold them for a while. I don't foresee me selling it for the profit right now. I don't know if that's a good or bad strategy. I mean, you always want to sell when the price is high, but those are two superstars, and I don't hate to own their rookie moments. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's few opportunities here, and we won't dive into NBA Top Shop that much, but something to keep in mind is when more supply comes in, and more supply will come on later on, so you have some time. And yeah, I just want to highlight that win because it took you like 2 clicks of a button, right? And I got some packs too, which I didn't open, but I think I'm gonna open one here for everyone to live witness. So right now I can sell my packs. I got it for what, $79. I could sell them for like close to $30 profit each, which I'm not sure if I will do that. So I can take a guaranteed profit, or I could roll my dice for Wembley. I think for the culture and for the content, I'm going to open up a pack. So let me go to one of these packs and let me open one up. Oh, I think I one sold. Oh my God, that's okay. Okay, I'm disappointed. I just made $30 for clicking 2 buttons.
You have more discipline than me, my friend. I would have cracked those packs all in one spot. I whenever you're like, I'm gonna open them for the video, I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. I already opened mine.
Okay, well, we'll do one here for everyone. Let's crack one open, and I'll probably let's see. Okay, I might sell the rest. We'll see. I don't know. I might FOMO in, and we'll talk about that later on in the video. Is FOMOing? Okay, it says error opening the pack. Okay, I might edit this part out if it takes a while. Let me try.
That one probably is Wembley #1.
No, I didn't. The Wembley #1 was the one that I didn't get. It was certain packs that had it, so it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it's not working right now. This is not good for the episode, but we'll just go back and say that I'm just gonna sell these packs. All right, so we have some issues opening the packs, which means that it's a sign I need to sell all these packs and take all the profit and just buy Wembley. I'm sorry, Wembley. A Victor. Oh, what's this? I'm just gonna take the profit from these packs and buy Wemby. That's the signal that I'm getting. Cool. All right, cool. So just jumping right into my budget allocation, and can you see that on my screen, Ryan?
Yep, looks good.
All right, so this is really my portfolio allocation. This is not like like some screenshot I took from someone else. And for me in 2021 bull run, I was like, oh, let me just dip my toe into NFTs, and my crypto allocation at that time was 5%, and it went up all the way to like 33% of my portfolio. So right now, through the downturn and the bear market, it still helps a substantial like 10 to 11% of my portfolio. And funny enough, half of that is in crypto because I took a lot of profits. And I'm famously known. I think I'm famously known for not liking crypto, but selling all my crypto for NFTs. So right now I have a bag of crypto, and I'm just like, let me get rid of this thing so I can just layer it into NFTs. So a lot of my allocation is in safe, boring stuff. And the reason I bring this portfolio up is not to brag or anything. I mean, there's not even a dollar amount on here. It's just to show people, like, if you don't, right now, NFTs are still kind of an emerging asset class, right? Although it is mirroring alternate assets that have been around for hundreds of years, right? It's still emerging. So meaning that you shouldn't really risk like your all your hard-earned money, right? You shouldn't take like 90% of your kids' college fund and dump in NFTs, Brian, unless you think so. I mean, you got 4 kids.
No, I don't have as much real estate as you, and I probably have a little bit more holdings within crypto, eating up that end of the side of things. But I agree, NFTs are still speculative in nature, and it's, there's a lot of volatility, and we can talk about this later on. But volatility, I always say, is, there's more opportunity as well. But, everything can go to 0, or it could pop off 100x. If something's could go to a 10, 20, 100x, it's just as likely it could go to 0 as well. So you definitely want to, be safe with your funds.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. But definitely have a plan is something that I believe a lot of people don't have. They don't have like a budget, right? And this is just a showcase. I do have a budget. Every single month, I'm putting money into either crypto and NFTs, actually more NFTs, but it's a very safe amount where 10% of my portfolio goes to Zilch. I'm not gonna be happy, right? But
Yeah.
it's not gonna hurt my pocketbook. Like I don't even own that much real estate. It's all real estate syndications and stocks, so real estate, type of assets. So if I own that much real estate, I would not be here right now. But yeah, I'm super bullish about NFTs. Last bull run, it popped up to 33% of my portfolio before I kind of rebalanced it, and taking profit is something we'll talk about. And
Nice.
in this bull run, I think my goal is to have my NFT and crypto allocation pop up, hopefully up to 50% of my portfolio. I think it can happen, because we're seeing those type of movements that are outpacing kind of like meme coins and altcoins. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. So the first thing is having a budget. And then really, I'll just talk about like a few of the projects that I'm going to get into and spend a little bit more time on. We already highlighted it, and on the screen, some of you guys can see it's just NBA Top Shot. I'm pretty bullish on this platform overall. You can see that just with a few clicks of a button, I just made like $120, no, $150. And that's just one day from when this launched, right? Like definitely could be worth more in the future. And right now I'm pretty bullish on NBA Top Shot. I'm actually individually looking into, individual NFTs within NBA Top Shot. Like I think Steph Curry is very undervalued. So if there's people out there that's like a Warriors fan like me, don't hate on me. Like his Top Shop debut is $435. So sounds like a lot, but at the peak it was thousands of dollars. And that's something that I might buy. I have one. I bought it for like $350. I might buy like 10 more. That really depends on, stay tuned, watch in later videos. Maybe I'll disclose how many I buy versus other projects, right? So that's one project I'm pretty bullish on and continue to be bullish on. Another one is Onchain Monkey. So Onchain Monkey, we talked about actually last time we were on the call together, Brian. I was like, oh, think about LeBron James debuts or Onchain Monkeys. Well, guess what? I chose neither, and I got left in the dust. So Onchain Monkeys went from 0.9. You could check on the last video. We talked about this. I mean, it was on the screen, I think. It was 0.9. Now it jumped up to 2.06, which is just, this is what we're talking about. It outpaced meme coins and altcoins. And that's because it's non-fungible, it's unique, versus like, Ethereum and whatnot, people kind of vibe with these things. So there's been sales of 2 ETH, all the way up until a few hours ago. And this is something I'm still bullish on. I think this can catch pudgy penguins. I think this can catch maybe even Bored Ape Wednesday. And the reason being is because it's on chain. It's different than Yuga. It's all the servers can go down, and if it ever fires back up, or the JPEGs won't. The images will not ever go away because it's on the network. It's on the Ethereum network. And this month in November, and that's probably why the price movement up, they are bridging it with Bitcoin. So if you own an Onchain Monkey, on your Ethereum, you'll get the Bitcoin Onchain Monkey for free. So that's another bullish news case. No, I'm not affiliated with them. I'm not sponsored with them. Although I did interview the founder one time in NFT Seattle. So that's one thing I'm excited about. I'm bullish on. I might still pick one up. For those people who think, well, a lot of people, it's kind of actually out of reach for a lot of people, right? $4,000 or $5,000 is nothing to sneeze at. They have the secondary collection that's followed its price movement upwards. It's called Onchain Monkey Karma. It's more of a visually appealing child brand of Onchain Monkey, but it shares all the same mechanisms and whatnot. They have like a $6 million DAO that is all nonprofit. So not only is it like artwork and profile pictures, they actually do stuff like in the real world. Like they do stuff with UNICEF. Like they done stuff like real things, not like, this is good for PR. No, they're like a serious nonprofit. So that's I just want to touch on that because I think profile pictures aren't going away, right? But it's for me, it's a little bit riskier than, let's say, a Steph Curry. Steph Curry, he's kind of like cemented as, I don't care what anyone says, number 2 in the NBA rankings of all time. So yeah, that's something that's a little bit different. Profile pictures, we've kind of seen like an ebb and flow this last year, right? Like people love it, people hate it. Actually, a lot of people moved away from it, right? So, but I believe we're going to see a lot of profile pictures pop off. They're just a little bit more risque. So I think Onchain Monkey is kind of like one of the safer ones. And then, of course, Clone X is one of my favorites personally. So just to show you kind of like what the sentiment is, I'll scroll down here if you guys can't see on the screen. So I actually made an offer, like $4,300 for this clone yesterday, right? And I messaged you, Brian. I was like, hey, Brian, I
Yeah.
made this offer on this clone. And just today I wake up and there's like 9 offers above me. That's like pretty much shows the bullishness of not only this collection, but just the NFT sentiment overall, because people are offering close to not the floor price. This is not a floor clone. This is above floor for sure. Like the floor clone's like 1.3,
Yeah.
1.4, 1.5. So people are bidding, like people want stuff for themselves. And not a CloneX, endorser by any means, but they are backed by Nike and they have done, millions of dollars of sales in the bear market. So I'm bullish for people who build in the bear. Onchain Monkey is one of those. CloneX is one of those. So those are the ones I'm pretty excited about. So sports profile pictures, I'm gonna definitely get more in. Not get more into, just have a little bit more exposure this year for sure. Things that I'm bullish on. Art and up and coming artists. That's something that Brian, you've gotten me into more so than it's not my expertise, but I'll let you take that one later on. I definitely am getting into more NFT art. If I had to choose like an NFT artist, it would be this guy right here, Murakami Flowers. Murakami, he hasn't had much art. Like I think if he had like art, it would just be like absolutely insanely high price. Like he
Yeah.
has a collection right here of 10,000 flower art, but unlike like the Chromie Squiggles or the Matt Canes or even the Faywos or um, you know different artists that does things with Sotheby's and Christie's. He hasn't done any NFT specific art per se. Well, maybe because he's just an artist in the real world and he just sells like real art. But yeah, I'm gonna look for him if he launches something. If not, I'm just gonna get a flower. This actually popped up also. It went a little bit higher in the floor price. But we'll actually touch upon art actually a lot more. We're gonna make a call, for everyone watching this at the end of the video. So stay tuned to the end for that about a art platform that we're actually pretty excited about. So we'll dive into art a little bit more. And the last thing before I kick it over to Brian, I know I'm going a little bit long. Sorry, Brian. Is
You're great.
I think because profile pictures had their heyday, right? And then sports is always going to be there as collectibles. It just makes sense, and art. So what I think is going to really pop off this year, we're really going to see a lot of movement in utility NFTs. Like there's going to be a
Yeah.
lot of people a lot of businesses, right? So here's one, Boba guys, they implemented on Solana a loyalty program. And what's interesting is that they've increased their business, 1,400%, spending over 1,000% due to these loyalty programs on the blockchain. And these are actually, ROI, pluses, right? The plus EV, 800% ROI, 65% increase in spending for those who have, the loyalty program on the blockchain. And I can see companies like Chipotle, I'm not sure if you know this, Brian, but Chipotle has a all you can eat Chipotle card.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? They give them to they give them to celebrities like Cardi B and like Taylor Swift, and it's only good for 1 year. And people sell these things online. So, anyways, what I'm saying is that people would buy these things. Like if you can get like my wife, if she loves boba. If you don't know what boba is, Brian, you're missing out in life. It's basically this tapioca drink that's delicious.
It's surprisingly enough, my wife's birthday was this past weekend, and we got her a birthday cake at a place that specialized in boba. And me and my kids, I've had it before, but my kids never had it. And we had the brown sugar boba, I believe, and they were bouncing off walls. Not gonna lie, I was like, there's a lot of sugar in here, but they loved it, and I enjoyed it as well. So I'm familiar.
Okay, it's like a staple in my wife's diet. It's like the 6th food group or whatever. But they're doing loot boxes and NFTs and things like that. So if there's something that gives you, I don't know, free boba for a whole year, she might buy that. What I'm saying is utility NFTs are really gonna pop off. Like we've seen people dabble. Like Coachella did a lifetime Coachella NFT that unfortunately got swept away with FTX. One thing that that's gonna pop off is there's so many businesses like Lufthansa Airlines, or they're allowing staking for like airline miles. They're opening up secondary market for airline miles and points. And I'm a big credit card points guy. Like that's like a whole $1 billion market. Like I see a lot of movement going in there. Fly Fish Club, Gary Vee's opening up his exclusive restaurant. Like these utility NFTs are quietly building businesses, right? Like they have to kind of integrate it in the business more tastefully than a profile picture you could just spin up, right? Like so, I believe a lot of utility NFTs going to pop off. There'll be opportunities there for people to really do well. It's kind of like a quiet sector, but I think that's something else that's going to be pretty big. Other than that, I'm just gonna. Those are like the top things that I'm gonna continue to invest into. Any if I make any bigger moves, I'll definitely let people know. But I'm gonna DCA into parties those top projects I just mentioned. So that's kind of like where my 10% of my budget's going to go to. Is not a little bit of money; it's thousands of dollars. But I know that it's going to, well, not going to say for sure it's going to 10x, right? But I believe what I'm going to pick a lot of those is going to make multiples even higher than meme coins and altcoins. I'm pretty sure about that. So Brian, I'm gonna kick it over to you.
Yeah, man. You want me to share my screen and a
Yeah,
few of
yeah, do
the
whatever you
projects I'm
want.
into? Yeah, I mean, well, I guess I would just start like some of the projects I'm going to talk about are projects that a few that I definitely own that I'm looking to get more exposure to during that I've been watching through this entire bear market, and a few of them have popped off, and some other ones I'm just definitely interested with. But let me share my screen. One project here that just popped up, the initial one that popped up, I do think kind of we've talked about the new meta is the gaming meta and trends overall.
Hmm.
And this was a cusp call a few weeks ago. The interesting thing about this entire project is just the backing they have financially. They have a stellar team. Their game is currently being worked in the beta, and we interviewed one of the founders and had just came away from that podcast really impressed with how methodical they are about the entire game plan. So I have a pretty large bag of these prime NFTs, and I think the art's really cool on a lot of them. You can see there's a pretty wide variety of different prices, and you could probably go back to the cusp and identify like some of the differences between them. But I think the art's stellar, in being able to utilize these in gameplay down the line is only going to increase the value overall. So I'm going to look personally to get more exposure to Parallel. And even though this is an NFT podcast, they do have the Prime token, and that's something I've been watching pretty closely as well. I kind of feel like if the game's going to pop off overall, the token could follow. So something I definitely let our community know any future moves I have. But that's the way I'm thinking through some of this gaming meta, and one of the projects I'm really interested in. Another one is NFL DraftKings Rainmakers. I think it's a stellar project. I think we've talked about this. It's also another cusp call where you could almost invest in player stock similar to NBA Top Shot. But there's utility behind this because you can make lineups every week. You can buy, sell, and trade these with friends. And there's a lot of prizes and cash prizes you can win weekly by, starting with the DraftKings Rainmakers set. I do think that they have a multi-year deal with the NFLPA, so the project's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. So that's another one that I have my eyes on, kind of in the sports gaming side of things. Let's get over to art. You talked a little bit about art, and I'm gonna call out another cusp call, and it hasn't exactly popped off since our cusp call. The floor is what 0.118 right now. Is the friendship bracelets by ArtBlocks. ArtBlocks is one of the most well-known generative art platforms in the entire world. By Snowfro, who's the founder of it, but you can kind of see these are just common friendship bracelets. And then if you ever go peel back to the cusp, you can see some of the palettes and how every palette is named after a supporting artist on the platform. So in my mind, I do think there could be utility behind this. This has never been mentioned, but if you want to get the next Snowfro drop on ArtBlocks, you may have to own his friendship bracelet line. So something I'm definitely interested in, and something I'll click on this ArtBlocks here. I think is really cool. We talk about utility all the time with art. I love how it's animated, but if you click through, you can actually create the exact friendship bracelet, which is a lot of fun. I have kids. We kind of picked ones that they really liked and I liked. And we made the actual physical friendship bracelet. And, it gives you step-by-step instructions exactly how to do it, how to create it. So for an art NFT, I do think friendship bracelets are something we could actually see to 2, 3, 4x in the bull
Nice.
market. When generative art starts even kicking up again in ArtBlocks, everyone's rushing to those mints. I do think this is almost like a native token on their platform. And I could see these being 0.3, 0.4 ETH eventually again. So that's one that I've been dollar cost averaging in slowly. Every time a palette that I don't have falls onto the floor or a bracelet I like, I may scoop up. Another one I want to share with the group, I don't want to go too long, I have a giant list, is one of my favorite artists. And you could probably see this be a cusp uh, score sooner rather than later. But this is by Alpha Centura Kid, who's a really well-known artist. I personally say he's like on the god tier of digital artists with like X Copy and guys like that. But this is his great color study. And this is just a full set. He's really well known for like performance art. The unique thing behind this great color study was you kind of almost like he didn't even really tell you what you were minting. And this is about a year ago. And we all went in and we minted this project. We just were following him because he was an artist I liked. And he gave us a Max Payne version 2. So it's X copies Max Payne. Nice. And he's like, oh, I rugged all of you. Ha 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 ha. It was like performance art. And I was like, did this guy really just take my money and run? Well, what he was doing behind the scenes was developing this set. And I think he's such a great artist. I do believe that this complete set could be worth quite a bit of money eventually as he develops as a digital artist and kind of gets put into that like Mount Rushmore of digital art. You can see some of the price points are really reasonable. I personally have a couple full sets of this project and something I'm going to continue to get some exposure on. Nice. And last but not least, let's talk a little bit about PFPs. We've talked about PFPs and how the meta's kind of changed towards like gaming and utility and art. Well, Campai Pandas was a project who has a really stellar team behind them. Kind of an expensive floor right now, but they've been chopping between 0.7 and 1.5 for a long time. And they have some of the biggest partnerships in the entire NFT world. Always giving back to their holders. Always, they have an NCAA bracket. They have Super Bowl tickets they give away every year. The team's just really engaged, and they're fun PFPs. So the community is really lively. There's not a lot of turnover with the project, but you can see it did hit a pretty high point, but it's starting to grind back up here. So that's a project I'm definitely hot on. And just to call out a couple more, I'm definitely looking at PFP projects. I'm a doodle holder. I spent a lot of money on my doodle and never sold it. So I'm a little underwater on the doodle I personally own, but makes me want to dollar cost average in when we're looking at, 2.2 ETH is a lot of money. But doodles just recently kind of hinted that they're coming out with some new plans. I think they're just a really attractive, friendly brand, and they have a runway of money. Mm-hmm. And that's something we want out of these teams, is that they have a plan and some money for backing. So projects like Doodles, VFriends, Series 1, and even Moonbirds are kind of all chopping around the same price. And they're just projects overall, PFP projects, I should say, that I'm definitely keeping a close eye on. For instance, it's like this hoodie Moonbird is speaking to me a little bit right now. I love these hoodie Moonbirds. But again, that's a team that's really trying to push forward. They call themselves like the art collector PFP. Mm-hmm. If you own their NFT, you get access to certain art drops and specialty meetings and things along those lines. So I'll stop sharing just so we can kind of chat through it. But those are projects that I definitely have my eyes on, are blue chip projects like Doodles, VFriends, Moonbirds, that have a lot of money. The teams are there, the teams are staying, and they're trying to build out a long-term plan. And I think those are some projects from 2021 that could run in the next bull run.
Yeah, no, I like the diversity we have because we have totally different interests, and there's opportunities for anyone within any project, I would say. If you know that project well enough, like you can definitely just arbitrage better than other people. Like there's a lot of movement in the NFT world. So yeah, I'm excited to see what your moves you're gonna make for this bull run coming up. So I'm excited to kind of not FOMO after you, but I like hearing your wins because it's a lot bigger than mine's. I remember when you sold the Velocity Pass from Red Bull's racing. I love F1. I'm like, man, you made $1,000 off of that in like a week. And then now with the Wemby win, I'm like, oh my god, okay. Just tell me what to buy, Brian. Brian, just tell me what to buy.
better lucky than good. But we'll take it. One I forgot to mention just because I felt like I was sharing. Oh, someone just bought that Moonbird hoodie right off the screen. Just saw it disappear.
They heard you.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, I really liked it. Whoever got that was a good buy. A floor hoodie there. Anyways, we talk about Jack Butcher and O'Pepin a lot, and you and I have talked about that project a lot, and that's one where I think unrevealed O'Pepins are an opportunity. I even mentioned it on the last podcast, and we saw a slight uptick in the floor, but personal portfolio, I'll let the NFT Nation know, but more likely within the next few weeks to month that I'll probably buy some unrevealed O'Pepins just to kind of roll the dice on what some of the announcements they'll have for an artist.
Yeah, I never really appreciated the dynamics of the O'Pepin project, and even though it was part of a cuss call, actually, the NFT Nation, a while back, actually, and that it's like a multi-year. I don't know how many years, right? Is it one a week or is it one a month? Like the randomization.
I don't know if there's actual set time frame.
Huh.
That's the thing that makes it a little tricky, unless I miss something. But it's definitely not one a week. It's at least one a month, once every 6 weeks, because you'll see that project floor dip, and that's when I'd love to give NFT Nation a heads up, like, hey, I like where this is going. It's been kind of hanging around the 0.4, 0.45 range for unreveals, which is actually a pretty good price in my mind. But if we don't hear news for a week or two, crypto and NFT days are like dog years, it's we could see that maybe dip where I'll buy more than one. I usually buy in threes if I can't, not high end like 2 ETH Moonbirds, but something under a half an ETH or even minting. I used to always mint in threes. One to hold long term, one to sell, flip right away if news comes out, and one to kind of like pick my spot.
Yeah, and off the cuff, that's really interesting, and we should probably dive into strategy a bit more with our community. But that's something you almost have to dollar cost average because we don't know when the announcement is, right? So you kind of need like a lower baseline buy-in price versus just one high-end one, and buying 3 or more, I might even buy 10 of them. You can not guarantee, but like almost, I would say, hit a mini what is it? Pre-reveal, pre-FOMO run up, cuss effect as we call it, cuss up, because it happens all the time. It's not even like if, it's when it will happen, right? So that's the dynamic that I didn't appreciate, and I knew, but I never knew he did it with collaborations. Like I think one of the biggest collaborations that made the bullish news was Pudgy Penguins. That was one of those that kind of kicked off. Like, oh, he's doing collaborations, because before it was just like him doing art. And now he's doing other stuff. And what if he does one with Beeple one day, right? So that's something that is a strategy that people utilized in 2021 that was popular. But with certain projects like this, or even the Velocity series, people don't know the Velocity series is the same thing. There was 4 art projects, but they did not reveal who the artist was, and they just revealed the last artist was Jack Butcher. So the creator of O'Pepin. So that had a run up, and you sold it beforehand. But you know what? I think good for you because it's kind of like topped out. But those are perfect examples of like, sell on the news, right? Which you did. You capitalized on that $1,000 gain. And with O'Pepins, it's like, well, let's just wait till it comes back up again. It's like kind of like it's gonna happen all the time. I'm not saying it's a guaranteed win, but it would almost seem that way when people get bored and you just dollar cost average in, and then on the run up on the next announcement, you can just sell into the news and just never even review the NFT. So that's very, very interesting. So if people get confused, don't worry. Just listen further. We'll break it down. What that project really is.
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head. What I'm kind of gunning for is have some unrevealed O'Pepins in my portfolio. Have 5, 10 of them, and just fingers crossed, because he announced Pudgy Penguins. He did a collaboration with Snowfro, and and those are such big names out there right now. I have a feeling that as we get farther down the line, we might see an X copy, we might see an Act, we might see a Beeple, and if Beeple is doing, is announced, these things will fly. They'll go 20, 30, 40%. But that's the risk we're taking. That's an educated risk that I'm willing to take, that I like Jack Butcher's plan. I know he's not going to rug us. I know he has a long-term vision for the project. I know other artists want to work with him. I mean, it's a benefit both ways. So it makes me really want to lean into these unrevealeds more than the revealed. And I mean, there's ones that are revealed on the platform that I think are really attractive, but I'm kind of trying to gamble a little bit by making some ETH on the next run up.
Yeah, I might do the same. So that's nice. This was unplanned, but I just made a buy choice on live here. And it kind of just pushed me over the edge, thinking through the mechanics of what OPEPN does, right, on a time frame with collaborations, and historically we could kind of look back and kind of see these runs and before we make a decision. But this is great. This is great because it really helps point us to what the Cuss call is this week, and we talk a lot about Cuss, which is kind of our community's way of finding good projects before they come up. And art is something that a lot of people don't know how to get into. And I'll just share my screen really quickly. But this came across our board more recently, but they've been doing stuff for a while, even in the bear market up to 2020, even started 2021.
Yeah.
And that's none other than the platform AvantArt. And this platform is really unique because it works with artists to create print editions. You see right there, sculptures, collectibles, studio works, all works. So they have a lot of interesting stuff coming out. And what's happening is kind of like what OPEP is doing, right? Collaborations are a really big thing. But what this platform does, a little bit different, is, gives you an NFT alongside a physical, which is, I don't think we're going backwards, right? Like, but, physical does take space. So you kind of, but it is good if you are a collector that really wants to showcase physically your artwork, then, that's a good, this is a good platform to have those two things.
Yeah, I love that idea. And that was something that attracted me to NFTs originally, almost how the NFT was the blueprint to the physical. And to have both connected is, from just a collector, is just extremely attractive to me. We'll talk more about this platform, but I love the idea of being I made my own squiggle physical. I wish that was from ArtBlocks. I would have paid thousands for it. And I'm never going to sell my digital version, and I would love to have a physical that would accompany that forever. Just something I really appreciate.
Yeah, I'm with you. There's things that I don't want to sell, and thankfully it's on a blockchain. I don't have to worry about a fire or anything, like insurance or anything like that, as long as I got my private keys. Okay, so to highlight this platform a little bit, well, really is highlighting itself because it's chosen great collaborators. CryptoPunks, Yuga Labs. One thing I want to highlight is Dmitry Treniak. Dmitry Treniak, he did a big drop during the bear market that sold out millions and millions of dollars. And I just want to highlight the collaboration that he did with AvantArt. So he did a very specific art piece to release with LACMA, which is the Los Angeles Museum. And he did it all for charity. He launched, I think, like 700 pieces that all sold out. It says right here, $872 for like 600 something pieces. I have it pulled up here. So right now, there's about 539 owners of this. Is my screen not changing? Can you see it?
It's not changing, actually.
All right, let me refresh it real quickly. Maybe something here.
And Dmitry Chernak, to just jump on top of that, is he is one of the most well-known, Ringers right there, well-known project. So that's a little different, but I think it's a 32 ETH floor on OpenSea. And they had the goose ringer that sold for millions of dollars. It looked like a goose just randomly generated, looked like a goose, and whoever minted that is definitely has a moat around their house now.
Yeah. So for those that I forgot to mention, thanks, Brian. Ringers is the collection that Dmitry Treniak was well known for, and the Goose one made headlines for sure. And this is an iteration for nonprofit, for charity, for LACMA. So these are just not one-on-ones, but they're like there's how many editions of this? There's like 603 of these. But interesting thing here is that you got the physical print. So if you bought this for like $800, right, you got the physical print. And if I scroll down here, if you take a look at the sales, just not only a month ago, I think this is when they launched, the NFT was selling for pretty much what the mint price was, even higher than that, right? So like, above and beyond so you pretty much, if you minted this and you sold the NFT, you would get the physical, poster in the back for free, right? And you could have sold the NFT, depending on what you value more. I mean, you might value the NFT more, right? But some people might just want the free poster in the back, right? So that's one thing to consider, is that digital twinning kind of allows you to have the best of both worlds. Yeah, where you can have the physical if you want. If you don't like the NFT, you can sell it. Or if you don't like the NFT, you can sell that and keep the physical. So it's really good, dichotomy to have. So Dimitri did his collaboration, and here it is. Alpha Centauri Kid is doing another one
I love it.
with AvantArt. And, Alpha Centauri Kid, like Brian mentioned, we'll talk more about in future videos, but he is doing one on November 22nd, which is in a few weeks. So me and Brian both entered, and it's one of 25, so even more limited than Dimitri. So they're doing, a lot of good collaborations. Curated art is something that I'm seeing because a lot of people don't know how to navigate. I, for one, don't know how to navigate all the different types of artwork out there, a lot of different types of generative art and how to appreciate it and things like that. So that's one I just wanted to highlight, just kind of put a sneak peek in there. We're not going to talk about it today. One that we will talk about today is Louis Ponce. He has done a lot of work with Sotheby's and Christie's. He has one-on-ones that sold upwards of like 12,000, 13,000. So this is whoever's watching this video will still have time to get in on this draw, and it ends in like almost 2 days. You see a day in 20 hours. So this is his edition, one of 25, and it actually comes with a glow-in-the-dark physical poster. So yeah, it's really interesting.
It's like a rave.
Yeah. A lot of people think this passes the eye test. And so cool. This is a glow in the dark one. And just to hop back to Alpha Centauri Kid, Alpha Centauri Kid is like a moving one. I don't even know how they're gonna send that to your house, Brian. Once you get it, it's gonna move. So animate it, right? So
I hope I get it. I hope I get it, Joe. Give me good luck there.
Yeah. Well, I entered the draw also, so you have double chances there. So not cheap by any means, but not expensive depending on how you value art. I was just at the Asian Art Museum this last week, and physical prints were selling for $2,000-$3,000 with no NFT, and just made me appreciate NFTs much more, because physicals is not bad, but NFTs is just that much better in my opinion. So with AvantArt, obviously not affiliated with them, just love what they're doing, love the collaborations that they're doing. They've sold out pretty much almost every single drop, so there's demand there even throughout the entire last 2 years. It's been there. Their secondary market sales for NFTs are selling, as you saw, right? Selling well beyond and above the cost, depending on the artist, of course. So it's a good platform. They're doing something that's hasn't really been done, right? Like in a kind of sophisticated, interesting way, So let's give them like a score really quickly, and just to kind of highlight for everyone how we do it here, we rate them based on kind of their metrics here. So looking at the community, utilities, story, and producer, we won't dive too much into that, but you want me to kick it off, Brian, or you want to take one or two of these?
Yeah, I'll take one or two of them. I'll go with the community. I'll start with the community and thinking through it a little bit. The name, I guess, the producer would be more a producer. Community wise, it's not as well known of an art platform, so I would probably stay away from like any 10s, 9s, or even 8s.
Right.
But it's a very strong community, and it's really well known in the art circles, and they have some major artists that come onto that platform. I mean, major blue chip guys. So I would lean towards an 8, but let's go with a 7. I feel like a very strong 7 would be a good community score.
Yeah, I'm along the lines here with you, because the platform itself, and you can't really base it on the Discord number. Like there's only like 1,000 active people on there, but art people aren't on there, talking about their artwork every day. And a lot of these collectors come with their own community, right? So that's what's important. And we've seen,
exactly.
These artists bring their following and sell out their collection. So definitely with you there. The reason it's not below average is because all these projects have sold out on there, and it's not a non-functioning platform that does no demand. It's definitely there. So okay, I guess I'll take utility, because I'm kind of known as a utility guy. I love utility of NFTs, and this one does have utility. It has an NFT variation with it, right? And the physical good. So don't hate, because people are like, oh, you some people want both. So you have the benefits of having the physical, but if that burns down, then you have the NFT that can token gate you into chatting with people who do love art, right? So it does have more of utility than just a profile picture collection, for example, because it does give you a physical also. So a little bit of love above average for me. Interesting to see in the future if they're going to apply different mechanics. Like we know Nifty Gateway, they do a lot of burning stuff, right? With artists, right? They if you burn the NFT, you'll get access to a different variation. I know Grant Yoon just did one of those for like This Life in Japan. So if they apply a lot of those different mechanisms, which they haven't done yet, then utility score to me will be a little bit higher. But I think utility is a strong 6 or 7 for me. What do you give it, Brian?
I would go with a 7. I think art's a utility at the end of the day. It's tough because like, you want to go like gaming is like, of course, such a high score, but I would probably go with a 7 because at the end of the day, you're the part of the utility is having that piece in your collection, and having a physical that accompanies it isn't very typical right now. So I would lean more towards a 7.
Got it. Cool. And story. So in terms of story, I think meaning just what's their significance? Like what have they done differently? What sets them apart, right? How did they stand out? And to me, this is one of the first that I've seen do it successfully. I think a lot of projects are like, oh, I'm gonna send you a physical, right? But they don't really end up doing it, or it
Yeah.
takes delays or whatnot. And I'm not sure. But you're the more of the art connoisseur, Brian. So what do you think about what they've done?
Yeah, I like what they're doing a lot. I mean, like you said, there's a lot of projects that promise these physicals, and I'm a big CloneX guy and Artifact and everything along those lines, and we like get their shoes, but it's like, hey, we won't get the shoes for like 6 months to a
Right.
year. Like, am I even going to want these in 6 months to a year? Of course we will, but it's just a long. I'm impatient.
Right.
So being able to get the print right away, and I think this is in this particular case, I know we're talking about the entire platform, but in this particular case with that like glow in the dark print, or if we're even talking about Axe movable one, those come in physicals, I think is really cool. And it's a great story. Like if you have that print and you hang it up in your office or in your home, what a fun thing to do. Like when
Right.
you have friends over and you tell them about this and how it's connected to an NFT, and they're like, what are NFTs? And you're like, not only do I have a physical, but I have this digital representation I can sell, and kind of go down that entire rabbit hole. So I think it tells a really good story. I would lean probably into a 7, but kind of default to what you're thinking as well.
You know what? I'm gonna give it a strong 8 because I'm thinking,
Oh, I like it.
yeah, because they do sculptures, so they're doing unique stuff, right? Like, and I read if you go into the website, they talk about how they have kind of like 2 to 3 different points of authentication, either a signature from the artist or like a proof of authenticity certificate, kind of like a Wagyu beef, you know. So not only is the NFT obviously is authenticated, but the physical is authenticated, and I think there might apply mechanics to even read the NFT through the physical one day. They haven't done it yet, but I know a lot of companies are working on that, which is like applying blockchain onto the physical where they can read that this links to that particular NFT. So although that's not the case for AvantArt yet, I think it's coming. Like you said, dog years, right? The industry moves so fast that I think they're doing some cool stuff. Having sculptures of artwork, like it takes up space, but it's interesting. It's cool. And I'll let you take producers.
Yeah, producer. But I would put it at an 8, and the reason why is they've been around for a while and they have major collaborations with major artists. It's not easy to get some of these creators to buy into just any random NFT platform where they're going to be basically showcasing their name. So a lot of these major, like to see Alpha Centauri Kid want to do a drop and doing a drop on November 22nd when the raffle ends, seeing him in that platform, and he's so particular about where he goes and who he works with, um, only makes me even more bullish on this entire platform. So I think it's at least an 8, and that gets us up to a 30 score, which I think this platform definitely deserves a good rating.
Yeah, and for me, I really utilize the cuss as a barometer. Like if they don't have a good score, really, they don't check just some of the basic boxes that you look for in a project, I'm definitely not going to buy into it. And definitely if it hits the 30 mark, I'm looking to buy something from there. So AvantArt, I'm definitely going to full disclosure, I actually entered the raffle, which you have to put in your credit card information. So if I win the raffle, I mean, when I win the raffle, it's $5,000 to $6,000 going to hit my credit card for Brian or for myself, who knows, for the Alpha Centauri kid. So this is not like fluff, like, oh yeah, we love Alpha Centauri kid. I could show you a screenshot of, of our raffle entered, so definitely a platform that I will utilize and trust because they've done so many collaborations with artists and even museums, the institutions.
Yeah.
So art is like you said, it has a utility of its own, and it's that's why I love talking to you, Brian, because we have different loves for NFTs, and that didn't even cross my mind that, oh yeah, that's right, art is a utility itself because people can admire it, they can enjoy it. It's something that it can provide a lot of benefit. So yeah, on a high level, that's what it is. Our cuts can really help identify and kind of steer you away from bad projects because a lot of people just don't spend the time to dig into projects, and they need to, right? They should. What a lot of people tend to do is just FOMO into, oh, Brian's buying old Pepe. Oh, let's all do it. They don't really go through, hey, what's the utility? What's the roadmap, right? What's the story behind this? Or the collaborations, and those are the things that help you create an investment thesis, and that's really, really important.
Yeah, back to just having a plan overall. And Joe and I, every project that we evaluate personally for NFT Nation, and they're usually the same always. That's something we're always looking at very deep. We're trying to build a plan and how this is going to work out for us overall.
Yep, absolutely. And we're gonna we continue doing that throughout the last few years, throughout the bear. It's just gonna be more exciting for the bull. Blink of an eye. We spent a lot of time already. We're going long, but that's how much I love talking about NFTs. That is not stopping. It's so exciting. I know we just talked about, how the World Economic Forum did a 50-page report on how NFT is going to shape the future. So it's super exciting times. I'm so glad to be in this industry right now.
Yeah, me too, man. I love it. And I love it even more when we have green days.
Yeah.
When projects are going up, it makes you feel like, okay, I made a good bet here. So I think it's going to get even greener as the months go on here. So in crypto and NFTs. So definitely exciting times.
Yep. And exciting when you have a strategy. When you come in here, you don't know what to do. Oh, I don't have a budget. And then when you do have a budget, like you don't know what to do with your budget, right? You don't execute on it. So, in the light of transparency of what we have been doing, talking about our budget and our portfolio strategy coming up, it'll be exciting to come back, a few weeks from now. And maybe our background's all different, maybe, it's full of bags of money, or all the collectibles are gone because we got wiped out, right?
I hope I have that ACK physical in my background. That's the goal. Everyone will know I scored if it's in the background. It's not gonna get sold. That's a personal collection for me.
Nice. Yeah, fingers crossed. We'll let everyone know in a few days. I don't know when the raffle results are, but yeah, we'll let everyone know for sure.
22nd, right? Day before Thanksgiving, because I checked. I have it ready.
Okay. If my wife screams, "Hey, you have a $6,000 charge in credit card," I'm like, "Oh, I won the raffle." Cool. Yeah. So I'm excited for us to come back on and talk about this in the future. We're gonna have a lot more coming. So stick with this, guys. It's gonna be super, super exciting.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, guys.